you haiku?
No.
Yes. Once.
Yes.
Not really. Yes.
No.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
I've heard of it. Yes, I have, but I haven't really been, have lots of experience with it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who knows what about haiku?
A form of Japanese poem.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a rhyme.
It does not rhyme. A haiku cannot take in a lot of information. It's small. So think of your eyes as a camera and think of a zooming in to look at one moment in time or one flower or wind or cloud or even piece of shiny glass on the street. It's glittery or it's sparkly, and there's a certain beauty about these broken shards. Haiku works with small moments. What else can you think of that's a small moment in time? Yeah.
A leaf floating on a puddle.
Ooh! What other small moments can you think of? Yeah.
A squirrel climbing on a tree.
Okay, write it down. That might be a haiku for you later on. What else do you know about haiku?
A lot of people write about nature when they write it.
Nature-based.
A haiku is when your first line uses 5 syllables, your second line uses 7 syllables, and your third line uses 5 syllables.
Syllables. I want to talk about that because that's a big change that's happening today. We don't force the syllables. In fact, you have a very well-recognized poet who lived in Camden, America's haiku poet, Nick Virgilio. And he was not a poet that stayed, everybody, he did not worry about the 5-7-5. He concentrated on these moments and brought them out. Haiku is more about meaning, message. The message is more important than the pattern. Lily, out of the water, out of itself. And you see how that does not fit the 5-7-5, right? What would out of itself look like? That's right, the blossom. Nick Virgilio would walk the streets of Camden looking for these small moments. So Nick lived in the 1900s in Camden, and he used a manual typewriter, an old Remington. Here he is. Here's a picture of Nick typing on his manual typewriter. And my understanding is that he worked on this every day and that he walked around Camden every day. So he did do a ginko walk. He walked for words. Let's look at Nick's poem on the left. I love this poem. The last one on the left. Down from the stone bridge, alone in the darkness, the star in the creek. Ooh, you don't expect to find a star in the creek. He doesn't, use simile or anything. Anything else you want to add to this list?
There's 3 lines.
Good for you. 3 lines only. That's still the same. It is so brief. It does not use similes. What's a simile?
Words that are like others.
Compare two things.
Yeah, like and as.
You got it. Usually there is a mention of season. This is really important, so put this down. There is a mention of season. And it can happen in two ways. One way is to name the season, the winter sun. Some haiku, you don't want to name the season, but you put in an object that is seasonal. Dandelion. If you had dandelion in your poem, what season would you be in?
Summer.
Spring or summer, right? That's when the dandelions are out. This seasonal word, if you want to know some Japanese, the seasonal word that you are going to use in this poem is called kigo. Kigo, say it.
Kigo.
Frozen stone in the icy wind, solid beauty nothing can break.
Frozen stone. What's the season?
Winter.
Winter.
So you have your opening line. In the middle would be maybe an observation about that. In the icy wind. And the last line, I call it an aha moment. It's a turn in the haiku that makes us fill with awe. What happens when you ring a gong? There's a sound, and then what happens after that first sound? It vibrates for a while, it lives on. And so this last line, I want you to think of it as creating a gong. Solid beauty, nothing can break. You ready to follow the way of the masters and go on a ginko walk? Yes. All right. I'm going to give you another Japanese name for that walk. It's a ginko walk. Ginko. Eyes open, all your senses are open. Because some of these poems aren't just about grass and sky and tree, they're about sounds too. So it might be about a single bird song, or it might be about the brush of wind, the sound of wind. You are an observer of small life. Observe nature. It's a new way of looking at things. I have these viewfinders, holding it like this and zooming in. When I'm walking for a poem, I'm not talking to anybody. You can touch some of these natural objects to awaken your feeling, your sense of touch. Look above, everybody. Look.
Oh, I never thought of that.
That moment is a haiku. Can you notice the moss in between the brick right here? So earth comes at us from unusual places too. I mean, this is so interesting to think of this moss growing between the bricks.
Clear skies, birds flying, sun bursting and beaming.
Oh, I see haiku in these lines. I see you playing now and choosing some of these images. learn to see differently today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how?
Well, I saw how birds live, how nature builds.
How nature builds. It's a great line. Okay, how about you?
I learned to look at smaller things in nature.
And that they're really big, aren't they?
I noticed that the smallest things in nature are the most beautiful if you really pay attention.
The smallest things in nature are the most beautiful if you pay attention.
Willing to pay attention to the environment.
A willingness to pay attention to the environment. Wow, that is, I mean, both girls, if you had that awareness on a first ginkgo walk, that's excellent. Can you take a moment now? Do you have kigo? Do you have some kind of attention to season? Do you have that gong? Is your message profound in some way? Does it offer a surprise or a wisdom? So take a moment to revise.
Clear skies, sun bursting, beaming on moss through cracks.
Fall sun shining bright on leaves that feel like paper. Fall sun shining bright on leaves that feel like paper.
Bells are singing songs, leaves blowing in the fine winds, fills me with much joy.
One tree stands still while leaves sing in laughter.
Earth and man-made nests, shelter for eggs, comfort and joy.
Flowers waiting by themselves for the sun to come.
A red-faced rose was a bride, dancing in the autumn wind.
Red-faced rose. Isn't that interesting? Many of you are.
Fronds that touch, never-ending beauty, everlasting fruit. Fronds that touch, never-ending beauty, everlasting fruit.
Everlasting fruit, because it's a bronze statue.
Frozen stone in the icy wind, solid beauty nothing can break.
The sound of water flowing and the rustling of the red, orange, and yellow leaves. The sound of water flowing and the rustling of the red, orange, and yellow leaves.
Bronze lady, frozen as time leaves her by her lonesome.
Small water droplet frozen in time by winter's dark cold grip.
Any other ideas or perceptions?
Haiku is the imaginary beauty of nature.
Okay.
Small things in nature are just as big as big things.
It was an internal change and it made me feel happy and it made me think of my surroundings.
Can you read your haiku?
Flowers waiting by themselves for the sun to warm them up.
That expressing nature in haiku writing is relaxing. The sound of water flowing and the rustling of the red, orange, and yellow leaves.
I mean, if we've learned that through one ginkgo walk, we've learned a lot. Approaching autumn, the warehouse watchdog's bark weakens in the wind. It's a sound poem, first of all. It's not talking about sight, it's talking about sound. Oh, here's another Camden poem, because we're going to be doing Senru today in Camden. One down on the right, Nick Virgilio's poem. Let's read it twice. On the darkened wall of my dead brother's bedroom, the dates and how tall. What does that mean?
It's like when people they like measure themselves on the wall and then put the date next to it and stuff.
Yeah. Have you ever done that in your house? Or? So what's shocking about this is that the brother is no longer alive. And Nick Virgilio's brother died in the Vietnam War. This is the human experience. we're going to add that to our walk today. To note beauty or sorrow or whatever however you connect with something, but to note that in the imperfect as well as the perfect. In fact, Basho had a word for that called sabi-wabi. Another haiku term, sabi-wabi. And it was that loneliness that occurred with him when Basho, 400 years ago, remember he became a lay monk and he was walking all around and sleeping by the riverside and all of this. Well, he came up with this term that he was seeking beauty, but there was this kind of loneliness about that journey to go out and be with oneself and notice things. He also, in his seeking of beauty, found that beauty often occurred with imperfect things. The broken glass has a beauty about it. So he wasn't seeking the perfect rose. What I want to do right now is have you add awareness to our journey today. To be aware of our body, to be aware of our thoughts and our feelings. We're going to add that today to our experience.
Spark of the machine.
The spark of the machine sounds great.
Murals all around me, showing the street's beauty, giving out happy feelings. How has this process of writing haiku changed you? You certainly have been writing away.
It helps you think more, and I think I think that is better to do than staying home or sitting on the couch. It's better to walk around outside and write about things of nature.
Thank you.
More experiences of what is only around the corner can be like experiencing another state.
Yeah. And I want you to write down a feeling that you get from reading somebody else's haiku.
When you're reading haiku, you can let your imagination grow.
And can you read the poem that inspired that?
The blue dress of sky painted with the dots. Painted with black dots, running away with autumn.
Some haiku have support for you.
It offers support for you. Can you give that example? What we work on?
I got two.
Uh-huh.
One's flower waiting by themselves for the sun to warm them. Frosty wind, but yet a yellow sunny sun.
What kind of support did it offer the reader?
The flower, it needed the sun support. The frosted wind, the sun gives people warmth and support.
I learned that there is life everywhere.
And what poem were you looking at? Can you read it for us?
Small beetle running from the stabbing of winter's cold dagger.
Welcome to our Japanese tea, and we're going to do a formal greeting, which is a bow, okay? And then in Japanese style, we take off our shoes and put them in the corner. And then in following tradition, you would dip your hands in the water to wash and then clean it with a towel. And then you can go and have a seat. The same way that we took our time to observe nature and human nature, we will take our time to have a tea. Okay, so you've come into the tea house, or you've come into somebody's house that's hosting a tea, and the first thing you would do is what we did. You take off your shoes, you dip your hands in the bowl and clean your hands. We've done that. And then you enter the house. And usually there's certain places that you put your guests, usually on pillows on the floor. And I'm giving all this to you, so again, my hope is that you'll do this at home with your family. And you get flowers that are natural, okay? And you lean them toward your guests. So these flowers are leaning toward you. Everything is for your guest. You, as the host of the tea, would clean every cup. You would just very slowly, just like haiku. When we do that. You would clean all your utensils. If you had any spoons or anything, all of that would be cleaned in front of the family. That just like that observation of nature in haiku, in our ginko walks, how we slowed down and we took a long look at things, we're going to take a really purposeful sip of our tea. So let's try. Feel it in your mouth. And then in a thick tea, I would give it to my guest, and she will take a sip, and then she will bow to the next guest, who will take the cup, turn the tea cup, and take another sip. And it goes around like that. When you go to a Japanese tea, it can take 4 hours to have a tea. That signals that we're going to finish our cup.
Yeah.
And then we'll ask you how you felt about this.
It showed me that no matter what's happening around you, you can always notice the little things.
And on this journey, I've experienced and I've noticed different things in nature and how beautiful it can be, and putting it in words makes it even more interesting.
Wow.
It was a good experience.
She does every Friday.
Machines are rumbling, sounds are thundering, houses are being born. Machines are rumbling, sounds are thundering, houses are being born.
The uneven sidewalk like a little mountain in the 0° C wind. The uneven sidewalk like a little mountain in the 0° C wind.
Broken window, crumbled by time, crying clear shards of glass. Broken window, crumbled by time, crying clear shards of glass.
The crunch of the leaves, the fluttering wings of birds, it's as though they're saying goodbye. The crunch of the leaves, the fluttering wings of birds, it's as though they're saying goodbye.
Sounds of nature and man-made things make music in unison. Sounds of nature and man-made things make music in unison.
Wind smacking against soft skin, while autumn lays upon the hard floor. Winter's coming. Wind smacking against soft skin, while autumn lays upon hard floor. Winter's coming.
The emptiness filled, drunken pain, sorrowful hatred. The emptiness filled, drunken pain, sorrowful hatred.
Violet flowers, decorated stars in a garden of green. Violet flowers, decorated stars in a garden of green.
Abandoned houses with mirrors, covering them with sweetness, pleasure for the eyes and not the souls. Abandoned houses with mirrors, covering them with sweetness, pleasure for the eyes and not the souls.
Evergreen pines, waving with the autumn wind, welcoming winter snow. Evergreen pines, waving with the autumn wind, welcoming winter snow.
Winter's icy blaze of wind, the cross-bending taw, and the music of dogs. Winter's icy blaze of wind, the cross-bending taw, and the music of dogs.
The spark of the machine makes these brakes work. The barking of the dog, cry for help sounds. The barking of the dog, cry for help sounds. A flower trying to fight the cold air with all of its strength. A flower trying to fight the cold air with all of its strength.
Sirens of faith, keeping me safe through all I will go through. Sirens of faith, keeping me safe through all I will go through.
The beauty you found in subtle, dull things in the world is what we always hope as teachers that we will uncover or help you uncover in yourselves. And I think that you guys did a great job. You really did.
Well, it's been 10 days since the haiku workshop. Have you noticed any change in yourself?
I notice more of the smaller things, like I pay attention to the little details more than I do the big.
How would you hold on to that vision, that way you have of seeing things now?
I don't know, is haikuing a word? I'd keep doing it.
Have you noticed any change in yourself?
Well, yes, because when I'm just walking around, like going to stores and stuff, I notice a lot more things. Like I can hear more things and I see more things that I didn't used to.
How do you think you can hold on to that vision?
By trying to write more haikus and just thinking about everything in new ways every time you see something.
Do you haiku?
Yes.
It's been 10 days since the haiku workshop. Have you noticed any change in yourself?
Well, my writing got better, and sometimes I stop more to think about the things around and take a better look.
That's great. That was our goal. And what we're wondering is, how will you hold on to that vision as you try, go on through school?
Well, I keep
by me writing, because I really do that a lot. And yeah, I'll probably remember how. I have good memory.
I look at things in nature as things that are just as experiencing and things that are just a part of nature that are important to me and that affect me in many ways. I use my senses as one of my ways to think about nature, and the way that I look at my neighborhood around me, it shows that there's many ways that nature can affect my life, and that nature is also a part of me and why I'm here today.
You are a wonderful part of nature. That's so true.
I can hold on to it by like thinking about it every day and wondering and like experiencing different things as I go through life, changes and things of that nature.
When I walk around, I notice small things that I never noticed before, and inside my mind I start forming a haiku about nature.
How do you think you can hold on to that?
By thinking of what I learned in a haiku workshop and going over what I learned there inside my mind, and then as I do, look at my surroundings and make a haiku.
I like to look for little things more, because haiku, ever since I've done haiku, since it's over, I've been looking for things I can write about more.
So there is a difference in how you're trying to see your surroundings. Am I right?
Yes. I can probably teach people how to do haiku. Yes.
That's a great idea. Thank you very much for spending your time with me today.
Yes, I noticed that I can see the small things in nature.
Okay. How would you hold on to that vision?
I keep writing haiku and read other haikus, see how they focus on small things.
Well, that's wonderful. That was what we were hoping. It's been 10 days since the haiku workshop. Have you noticed any change in yourself?
Yes, I write more and I write with a reason.
Are you looking at things in any way different than you did before?
Yes, I notice them more. I notice their meaning, and I think of it.
So what you're talking about is vision, a way of seeing things that may be a little different than what you experienced before. How would you hold on to that vision so that it can be a guide for you in your life, school life or home life?
I would think of it more, maybe write more haikus down, and keep it close to me.
Like, I'm more like into my nature. Like, I'm more like involved with the nature environment.
How do you think you can hold on to that vision?
I can hold on to it by writing haiku, or like going to church or walk in the park or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you very much. That's true. Those kinds of things can help you to hold on to that vision.
I've been really working on different other types of poems besides haiku, and I see some haiku coming up.
Is there any difference in how you see your neighborhood?
Yes.
How so?
When I take a walk coming from the bus stop, I see different things just straight come at me, like I just recognize it.
So there's been a difference in the way you're looking and a difference in what you see. How will you hold on to that vision?
I try to hold on each and every day I go somewhere new.
That's a great way. Have you noticed any changes in yourself?
A little bit.
Yeah. What would you say?
I have better handwriting. I noticed something different in my school.
Okay. Do you want to describe it or tell me a little bit?
Well, we're building like a whole bunch of new stuff around the school to make the neighborhood a better place.
Maybe you're noticing more than you did before. How do you think you can hold on to that vision and maybe encourage it to grow?
But I always concentrate on that vision, and when you get free time, try to work on it.
Well, we have a small gift for you to encourage you to keep on writing haiku. It's in that bag there, and you take one of them, and we hope you'll see more beauty in your world, and you'll jot down the things you see.
Okay.
Ever since like every child does, they imagine. As I got older, that imagination just went away. And with haiku, even though I'm at a certain age where I'm going to be 12 soon, I think that I could still, imagine things and still worry about the things that are important in life. I can hold on to it if I like haiku, like every week or so, as long as I keep it like intact with me and not forget about it.
Well, it's been 10 days since the haiku workshop. Have you noticed any changes in yourself?
Yeah, I noticed to look, when I'm outside, to look around more and notice the little things in nature that can be so beautiful, and when you put it into words, it's so beautiful.
So you're seeing a difference in your neighborhood then, it sounds like.
Yeah, because when you're just walking and you're looking, you just see normal things like trees and flowers, but if you actually take your time and look, you can notice how rich the soil is and how light the sun can shine on it. Yeah, it's like when you really pay attention, it's like you see a whole new world. Now, I'll always try to pay attention and write more haiku because it's a fun activity, and you can really notice what God gave us here and how beautiful it is, and just take good advantage of it.
Yes, I noticed that I look for like birds flying or birds together, or I look for bees gathering pollen or stuff like that.
Well, what you're describing to me is what I would call a vision, that you've created a new vision for yourself. How will you hold on to that vision?
I might share it with other people or see how they react.
Yeah, it isn't always easy. That's why we're asking everyone that question of how will you hold on, because most of the kids are seeing things a little bit differently and seeing observations and making observations. But when it's brand new to you, it's easy to do that. So it's hard to hold on to it sometimes. And it is something that can guide you all through the rest of your life. Well, we have a small gift for you in that bag there that is to encourage you to keep on writing and making observations and seeing beauty in your world. And I really enjoyed having the workshop with you and hearing all your thoughts and your haiku. So thanks very much for being part of it.
You're so welcome.
you.